Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ricardo Questions, where I'm always questioning the narrative. So today we're going to be diving into the drama surrounding Anthropic's powerful new Claude Fable 5 and Mythos 5 models. I'm going to be reacting to three clips: a news report on the Trump administration shutting it down with export controls, then a valuetainment segment showing how insanely capable Fable 5 is, and finally breaking points breaking down the controversial comments from Anthropic CEO about AIs being used in military strikes. I'm going to give my initial thoughts after each one, and we're going to discuss what it really means because it seems like a lot of people want to know what's really going on here. Is this about safety? Is this about national security or something else? Well, let's get into it.
A new report in Axios details an emergency PR effort by Anthropic. The company is sending its staff to Washington as it looks to bring its AI models back online after a dispute with the White House over national security. Let's go live now to Axios tech reporter Maria Curie. Maria, thank you for your time today. So what's at the center of this disagreement?
What's at the center of this is that last week, the Trump administration received a report from Amazon saying that there were some vulnerabilities in Anthropic's most advanced models, where those models could essentially be jailbroken. That caused a lot of alarm within the administration. Officials tried to get a hold of Anthropic staff and Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei. They were able to get on the phone relatively quickly, but those talks broke down and the administration felt like they were not being taken seriously. It ultimately resulted in, on Friday night, a letter being sent to Anthropic saying that they would be subjected to sweeping export controls, meaning that no foreign nationals or foreign companies or any country outside of the US could have access to this model.
So looking at the big picture here, could this have an impact on Anthropic's upcoming IPO?
So, if Anthropic were a public company, this would have tanked the stock market. This creates a lot of regulatory uncertainty for investors that are going to be looking at how this impacts access to the model, the revenue that the company could generate internationally, and the company's overall growth.
And what could this mean for Anthropic, specifically when you look at the social side of things, or even how it relates to its customers? Because he talks a lot about how, AI is dangerous and we just want to use it in a really smart way. But now here's a situation that could also potentially be dangerous.
Anthropic is at the forefront of raising safety concerns. They have been the loudest. They actually are in favor of export controls when it comes to hardware, when it comes to semiconductors reaching China, which is something that the Trump administration has been more lax on, interestingly. And so, this is essentially taking off one of the most advanced models off the market for a lot of users. They had come out with a version of Mythos, which is a private one. They came out with a general purpose one called Fable that was available to the public and is no longer available to the public, even though it did have safeguards and guardrails in place.
Okay, we'll see what comes next on this. Maria Curie, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right. So according to that CBS News segment, the Trump administration is hitting Anthropic with export controls, blocking foreign access, and now Anthropic is sending people to the White House to try to fix this situation. And this is a big deal, especially right before their possible IPO. This all kicked off after Amazon flagged concerns that Fable 5 and Mythos 5 were relatively easy to jailbreak, basically bypassing the safety guardrails. It, it reminds me of a lot of the old controversies with jailbreaking iPhones and rooting Android phones back in the day. I remember jailbreaking my iPhone specifically to get access to Cydia. And Cydia was this app that was this ecosystem of apps that Apple wouldn't approve. And then with Android, I remember going to XDA to install custom ROMs and to gain complete control of my Android device. And this stirred up a lot of debate about freedom, security, and who really owns the tech in your pocket. So it seems like basically the same thing is happening right now, right? Breaking restrictions and pushing boundaries is at the center of the Fable 5 story. Yeah, definitely interesting for sure. But I do want to transition to a clip of the capabilities of Fable 5, and let's take a look at that.
direct examples. I saw a guy, Todd Saunders, and he tweeted the following. He said, this is unbelievable. I was on a customer call today, and I had Claude transcribing in the background. As the customer was telling me about the features they wish their current software had, Claude was building the features in real time. By the end of the call, I was able to show a fully working product with the exact workflow they mentioned 15 minutes earlier, autonomous looped building triggered from a customer call.
This tweet right here?
This one right here.
Show the video wrap?
So just think about how crazy this is, what this guy's saying. He's saying he's on a call with the customer. While he's on the call with the customer, the system is listening to what the customer is saying the pain point is, and it is building a solution in real time. Before the call is over, now Todd says, hey, I got your solution for you. What do you think? You're telling me this stuff's not valuable? I mean, this is crazy, right?
So this is Anthropic.
This is an Anthropic model. Now, could other models do some version of this? Sure. But I think that what a lot of folks already are talking about is Fable. Now, the second example I'm going to use is Sylvia. So for those that don't know, Sylvia is a AI CFO that we've built. We've got thousands of multimillionaires that are on this thing. And what we see using this product is when we upgrade the model, people start asking more questions. Now, what I think is most interesting about this is when you come in here, you are attaching your bank account, your brokerage, your crypto account, your credit cards, real estate, cars, collectibles, etc. And then you are talking to a model with the context of your personal portfolio. So if you go to Fable or you go to ChatGPT and you say, hey, listen, help me get my tax rate down, it doesn't know anything about your finances. But when you combine the power of these AI models with the persistent context of your portfolio, it becomes really powerful. So we have actually seen people go from asking 6 questions a week to now more than 15 questions per week. Why is that interesting? Who asks their financial advisor, their accountant, their lawyer, et cetera, 15 questions a year? These people are asking 15 questions a week. Now, the reason why I find that very interesting is guess what happens? If people are doubling the number of questions they're asking on Sylvia, we are using both proprietary technology, plus we are using some of the models. Every time someone asks a question, it costs money. Why is Anthropic's revenue exploding? Because people are on Sylvia asking 2 times more questions. And no matter how much we work to get the cost and the efficiency of token consumption, et cetera, down, people want intelligence. And so what I go back to is whether it's Todd, whether it's Sylvia, what is the thing that people have run around the world for years now trying to do? They're trying to find the smartest people to come work at their business, the smartest people to help them with their finances, the smartest people to help them with their health, with whatever the thing is that they've got going on. They want intelligence. We now have synthetic intelligence that is more powerful than anyone else. And I saw somebody recently show the model, Fable 5, gets paid more than most people in America. So think about that, right? The average hourly wage in America, I don't know, what do you think, 15 bucks an hour, right? Maybe lower, right? You're paying $40-ish per hour to Fable 5 when you use it. So the model now makes more money than the human does on a per hour basis.
You're paying Fable 5 $40 bucks an hour to use it instead of the 50
an equivalent
bucks.
cost of tokens.
Totally get it. So it's 80 grand a year salary.
So think about that, right? If I'm sitting there and I can get superhuman intelligence, but I only have to pay $80,000 a year if it was running with the normal token consumption, what business isn't like, I can get the smartest person in the world to come work at my business and I only got to pay $80,000 a year, compared to white collar work that they're used to paying $150,000, $200,000 for these people. So this is where all of a sudden you start to get this very unique kind of dynamic in a business where people are saying, okay.
All right. So yeah, think about that. Definitely think about that. So basically what you witness here is that there's a guy on a customer call and the AI is listening in the background, building the actual product in real time. Let me say that again. Let me say that again. The AI is listening in the background and building the actual product in real time. So by the end of the call, he shows them the working version. That's insane. That's insane. So then he mentions the Sylvia AI CFO as an example. And basically, it has all the your financial data connected. And people go from asking 6 questions a week to 15. And that shows how powerful the context, that shows how powerful persistent context is. So it's not just a chat bot anymore. Economically, they're saying that using Fable 5 is like paying an $80,000 a year for a superhuman intelligence. So that's cheaper than many white collar employees, but way more capable. So this kind of technology is completely changing how business works. Yeah. so so the capabilities are clearly there. So this is next level stuff for sure. But let's look at the other side of things, right? What are the risks and the controversies behind AI? Well, let's take a look at a clip that discusses this.
I get it, you know, does not like corrupt reasons. I'm like, no, like we cannot be ruled by these people. You know, if you listen to the whole thing, and I have a little bit of a summary, what he says is that he's like, look, it didn't even violate our use case because a human reviewed it. It's like, well, the whole problem is about how that target set remained on the day one strike package. Was it AI? As we have laid out, there's a very convincing case for it. Because of the name and the rename, it's exactly the type of thing. Anybody casually playing around with AI, the girls' school used to be part of a base. It had been abandoned. And then there was also that strike on the park, if we recall, which also had been labeled in such a way that an AI...
It was called Police Park.
Yes,
and the Israelis in particular were targeting a lot of civilian police to try to create social chaos and disorder within Iran. So they end up bombing a park called Police Park.
You could easily see how a ChatGPT or a Claude, as maybe any of you, if you've played around with it, how they would be like, yeah, find all places used by police in Iran. Target set pops up. Find all IRGC bases that are known. How would it know necessarily without a human actually checking? They didn't check, and that was part of the strike package. So you cannot trust these people. You know, you really should also really pay close attention to their defense of the technology. Let me read you this direct quote from the same interview. Amadei defended the use of AI military conflict during his interviews. We don't want a world where China and Russia can analyze all their intelligence with AI, can use AI for attacking Taiwan and Ukraine, and we can't defend them. All right, so in his universe, Claude is the only American alternative. Now recall, in China, yes, they have private companies. There's no such thing. The private companies work in tandem directly with the government. I don't even care about that at this point because clearly it's a superior model. Well, here, what they're saying is that our unfettered, unrestricted AI is the only potential opportunity to combat what the Chinese and the spooky Russians are doing in Ukraine. That's they're trying to prop themselves up as these national champions, and it's deeply cynical because what it really means is that our national champions have to be completely unrestricted and have to be stopped by the U.S. government, and that we cannot tell them what to do. We will acquiesce to them entirely. Both are terrifying possibilities, right? And that because at least in China, you know, you don't have this separate oligarch. You have total government control. Total government control has its downsides, but here you have half government control and then half private control over everything. It's actually the worst of both worlds. You have oligarchic and government authoritarianism fused together, basically to create some sort of like super rich state, which is ultimately, I think, what they want, you know, for everybody.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about that. So basically what he's saying is that when they were bombing a park literally called the Police Park, the AI is just pulling targets on keywords without proper human verification. So that's exactly the kind of mistake you get when you lean too heavily on these AI systems. And then Dario, the CEO of Anthropic, came out saying that China and Russia are doing it, so we have to do it too. So he's basically saying that we need unfettered American AI to compete with them. But as Breaking Points mentioned, that mentally pushes all the safety and ethical concerns to the side. So this is the same company that claims that they're a safety first company, yet their red lines still allow something that end up hitting a school filled with little girls. And the bigger picture that they're talking about is this fusion of private tech oligarchs and government power. And that's pretty scary if you ask me. So it feels like we're getting the worst of both worlds. Not full government control like China, but not a real oversight either. Just super rich, just super powerful companies that get to do whatever they want, as long as they wave the national security flag. Yeah, so So definitely some real concerns here for sure. Um, I just wanted to keep this video short and sweet. There's a lot of things I can talk about here for sure. But as for my closing thoughts here, how can I articulate this? So on one hand, we have this incredible, powerful technology that can build apps in real time and act like a super smart CFO. But on the other hand, we have a CEO of a safety first company basically saying that using AI to help strike a school, even if it's tragic, didn't violate their red lines because a human was in the loop. That's a pretty cold response if you ask me. So China and Russia is and also he's mentioning that China and Russia is going to do it anyway. So it just leaves a lot of questions here, right? How we responsibly use this AI technology. Well, my question to you is that should the government be putting controls on these powerful models? Are they protecting us from real dangers? Or are they slowing down American innovation while while the rest of the world races ahead? Well, anyway, that's the end of the video. Remember to always stay questioning. Take care. Good luck out there.